medicine that he could use on fellow prisoners there was water. And he wrote a whole textbook with just all these cases that he cured with water, all the different kinds of things that he could do with it. Water is potent.
Coca-Cola believes within the next couple years that the water sales will overtake all of their other beverage sales.
Wow, good. And I suppose they're bottling water for us.
They're Dansani or
I didn't hear. Okay. Yeah. Coca-Cola is starting to say their water sales are starting to overtake their Coca-Cola sales, which I think is just terrific. I think it's just terrific. So excess electromagnetic fields. This one's been kind of hush-hush lately, hasn't it? Do you remember when cell phones were so bad and we couldn't hold it to our ear because of brain tumors and on and on and on and on? Well, you know what? That research is still out there. And for example, in Sweden, they just passed a law 2 weeks ago that makes it mandatory for cell phone manufacturers to include the earpiece and the talk piece whenever they sell a cell phone, because they do not want people holding a cell phone for electromagnetic radiation reasons, including public safety too, of course. In fact, they've made it a law for those 12 years and younger not to talk on cell phones unless those headpieces are used. Looking for the right word there. And it's just really important. Electromagnetic fields have a profound effect on us. It's a little bit sketchy science for some of it yet, but we do know there's profound differences in metabolism for those people living near power lines. That has been proven. So where some of these toxicity sources come from? Heavy metals. Muskegon, our cement plants, throws up an incredible amount of mercury in the air. We are downstream from them. If you look at a map of the United States that the FDA has put out for us, with red being the most toxic area for heavy metals, West Michigan is deep red compared with just a couple other areas of the United States. It's gotten to the point that our own DNR right here in Michigan says no fish is to be consumed from our streams, our ponds, and our lakes here in Michigan by kids or women of childbearing age. It's gotten really out of control. Our heavy metals are way out there. Our groundwater is contaminated with it. It's not just in the air, our water, our fish, our food supply. It's really depressing. We could move, or we could raise our defenses against this and get so healthy that our metabolic machinery is just working because God created us with the ability to grab heavy metals and get rid of it. We do have that ability. And lifestyle change can increase metal excretion by 86% in just 36 hours. It is phenomenal, the power that we have in our hands just with the tools available to us. Heavy metals is a depressing topic because it has such a long half-life. In other words, it takes so long for nature to destroy it. But what were we thinking when we started putting this stuff in our mouths? With your silver amalgam fillings, silver. It really is mercury. It's still being used today. What were we thinking when we were putting it in thermometers and then playing with it as kids? There are nice little beads going around the floor. Remember doing that? I did. Yeah? What were we thinking? Because all this knowledge has been, we've known about this for so long, and we've just underestimated its effect on future generations, I suspect. What were we thinking when we were putting it as far as transformers and computers and all the elements that are still being used today, and people are just casually dumping, and out it goes into our groundwater? So the gut-liver function is absolutely critical for healthy weight. If I could point to one thing as far as an organ system goes, gut-liver function is it. It seems to be very central to healthy metabolism. If your liver does not work well, you are not detoxifying well, along with many, many other things. and other weird things start happening. If your liver's irritated, your cholesterol shoots up. Your hormones go wacky. Your neurotransmitter levels will do strange things. Yeah, it's related to many things. At last count, as far as we know, the liver has over 450 different functions that we've identified, probably way more than that. But it's really a multitasker, and it is under assault in today's society with what we eat. Can you imagine eating one of those hamburgers from McDonald's? I personally can't, but just the smell is just really strange to me. But the ammonia in there, the things that happen to the meat, I'm not going to go into it. It'll just, no, I'm not going to go into it. But it really is truly depressing what actually happens to meat. It is really not meat. It's a meat product. They're not even allowed to call it meat. And it has no resemblance to the real thing. It has absolutely no resemblance. Well, I'll give you this one little snippet. I've had a bit of a colorful youth. And one of the things that I've done as a youth when I was about 17 or so is work in the stockyards. And it was a great experience because it taught me hard work and many other things. But one of the things there is in stockyards is this pervasive smell. Yeah, you can smell it 4 kilometers away. It's all over the place. It's like a dust. I can put my nose up to one of those hamburgers and smell the stockyards. It's got the same smell. Ugh. You can just imagine all the things that are in there. No, don't go near it. Ultimately, what I wanted to say with that, it's really hard on gut and liver function. It really is. Medications.
Really, pardon me, if you don't mind. There really aren't many diseases known to man that don't have a liver dysfunctional component with it.
Yeah, it seems like every century's got its own bunch of diseases, and really the 21st century diseases has at its center the gut-liver area. It's under tremendous assault. It's related to a lot of things, including autoimmune diseases. In fact, in Europe, depression is called a gut-related disease. Rheumatoid arthritis is definitely a gut-related disease. Autoimmune diseases in general are gut-related. Eczema is an autoimmune disease. It really is a gut disease. The skin is only showing what the gut is feeling. So, but back to obesity because it goes that way with this discussion. Medications. I had a patient come in from Iowa. This is about 1.5 years ago. Current record holder. 24 different medications. Yeah, 24 different medications. I have multiple patients that come in that are on at least a dozen medications. That is not at all uncommon. Yeah, 12 medications is not uncommon. At age 67, the average amount of medications that a patient is on is 7. How can we do that to our aged population? Because it really is an uncontrolled experiment, folks. It is an uncontrolled experiment because what's happening is every medication has a list of side effects. Add 2 of them and you're going to have more side effects. Do 3, you cannot calculate how the interactions work anymore. Add to that the uniqueness of every individual and the uniqueness of their environment and the uniqueness of their emotions as well as their genetics. I mean, I can go on and on. It becomes an uncontrolled experiment. And I realize that us in the health business are forced sometimes, and especially in emergency situations, to get a control over a patient to save their life. I recognize that. But as far as long-term health, let's not keep these poor patients on that many medications, and let's try to wean them off of it and get them healthy. And we do that by teaching them lifestyle change, by teaching patients what we're talking about today, and what we teach our patients really in lifestyle therapy that Tina teaches, or exercise therapy that Leah teaches, and what we try to teach our patients. And sometimes it takes a bit of doing. I just had a patient come in this morning. He's been coming to me for about 15 years, and I had recommended a book that a friend of mine wrote. It's called Ultra Metabolism by Mark Hyman. And it's funny because I've been secretly writing a book at home, and I've got a bunch of chapters, and I just finished my chapter on rheumatoid arthritis and its relationship to the gut. And this is a bunch of years ago. And then I read Ultra Metabolism, and I threw away. That's it. He beat me to it. It really is an awesome book because it really encapsulates a lot of what we do here in this